Dude, you've really set the bar high once again, bro. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I'd have been happy if you just dropped this without all the accompaniments and just gone, man, I made Entergalactic. That was fucking classic, Cudi. Enjoy this. But you've kind of given us all this other as well to get our heads around. You're on fire, man. You're on fire.
Thank you, bro. I'm so happy you with it, man.
I with it so hard, man. There's stuff I want to talk about to do with it. But man, look, I know that you're a master of the language. You know, you love to put words together and syllables and ideas to create new emotions. So my question to start with feels kind of obvious, but I love it, which is, what is Entergalactic? When you first come up with that idea, what does it make you feel? Make you want to build on that particular word?
Man, I think back in the day when I came up with it for the title of my song, this love song I created for the first album, it was more so like an expression of feelings, like of just like euphoric, just like fantastic feelings that you have when you meet a woman for the first time, or you hang out with a crush or somebody you really have feelings for. And the original song was inspired by a story that this kind of years ago, like early on in my New York days. I met this girl and we hit it off and we did shrooms at her apartment and we just kind of had this really magical night. And I just was like, well, it was so like intergalactic, you know, and then like, and that just stuck with me. And that's why I decided to title the song that. And when I was thinking about this, just kind of writing, you know, thinking about, oh, I'm writing a love story again. And this is kind of like back in the early days, kind of like this is me showing, you know, Kid Cudi's lover boy R&B side, you know, which I've only had a chance to do a couple times on albums here and there, you know.
So I guess it's time to turn our attention to Entergalactic, which is now this full experience, this whole world of you know, visuals and storytelling and the musical side of things. And how long have it been building in you to do it? Because you announced it back in 2019. You've stayed true to it. It's 2022. Billboards everywhere. The project is about to drop. And in terms of the show, we now have the album. You stayed true to it. What's the timeline on it as a sort of visual arts / music project?
The album was done in 2019. It took the whole year.
And so you had that in the can when we were kicking it on the last time.
Yeah. I was sitting on it, man. I did Man on the Moon 3 right after. So I knocked that out in 2019, and then the show took about 3 years from 2019 to 2022.
Yeah, so that would suggest that the music was actually pretty instrumental in kind of helping to keep you on a narrative with the show, right? If the album's done, you can't have them separate over time.
No, it was a beautiful thing to just see it all come together, you know. Like the marriage of the two things, you know. Kind of just seeing that my crazy idea is working, you know. That was the real exciting part. It's just like, wow, I had this really ambitious idea. It's never been done before, so I can't say it's kind of like this or kind of like that.
Yeah.
But it's working, you know?
You know, you really you stretched out into some rare air, bro. You've moved into animation. It's really hard, and in order to tell a great story through animation, it's even harder to tell an emotional story, matters of the heart, through animation, because you're immediately replacing that natural human ability to emote on screen with something that requires lots and lots of layers and ultimately great words. Like, the script is everything in animation, I think. So how was the challenge for you moving in that space? Because like you said, crazy idea, but even bigger hill to climb. You gave yourself some real challenges.
Yeah, I think it was all about just like making the story real and grounded, you know. We were using animation, and there are some elements in the show that, you know, take you to a different place and space and time, you know. It's really trippy at moments, but it's still a very grounded story, and that was key, you know, and throwing the humor in there and just making it super relatable, just kind of like what I do with anything else I do, you know. You know, marrying the two things, the music and the animation.
I always think if you're going to work on something in animation, getting to work with people, to pick people to contribute to roles that are ultimately conjured up again through animation that are drawn and brought to life in that way, you got to think different, right? The character of the voice is so important. Was it really fun for you to be able to kind of make that wish list and just kind of go after people you knew that were like, come on, man, ride with me on this?
It was fun, man. Everybody kind of, everybody that I thought about for this showed up, and the people that I didn't know personally that I reached out to, I found out that they did this show because they were fans of me, and it was just it's just such a wonderful feeling to have support from your peers and to see people like believe in your vision and ready to take the ride with you. And you know, I remember I text Timmy. I was like, dude, I got an idea, man. I have this show. I want you on this show. I want you to play like my weed dealer. And he thought it was so funny. And but he just stayed true to like saying that he wanted to do it. And I made sure he got the scripts. He knew the story because I didn't. We're friends, and I still don't want this man to think I'm gonna lead him into some bullshit. So I like made sure he had the scripts and like his team read it, and I was like, look, man, this is dope. This is not no bullshit. He read it, he loved it. Um, so it's like, just assembling the team. Timmy was the first person that signed on.
It's a great first step. I mean, that's a real it's a lovely moment too. Like you say, it's friends, but you don't want to leverage your friendship. No one ever does. Friends is one thing. You'll carry that with you no matter what you do and where you go in life, right? While you find yourself productive and creative, you pick a moment like that to ask your buddy, hey, I stand by this. Do you want to ride with me on it? And he says, yes, you're onto something. You know it.
Yeah, and the same thing kind of happened with Ty, getting him involved because I've never seen Ty act before, but I just know him as this really talented musician, an artist, and you know, um, I was just like, I love his look. I think it would be great in animation, like it would translate perfectly. And I was just like, him and Timmy being my two boys, like that, just us three just look like such a crazy clique.
It's iconic, man. It's the party everybody wants to see in real life, but that generally happens behind closed doors. It's like you've only brought it to life in animation for the rest of us to indulge in.
But we've been throwing the intergalactic parties, trying to give people a taste of the vibes.
Where are we at, bro, beyond this? I'm only asking, not because I'm trying to be insatiably greedy when it comes to Kid Cudi business, but I know you're insatiably creative. You have multiple opportunities to create content and to build IP and to build beautiful creative worlds around you. You remain faithful to the music. How are you feeling knowing you pulled this off, and where do you want to go next, man?
Oh man. Well, first off, I feel really great. I feel accomplished.
Yeah.
Because like I said, this was a really ambitious thing, and you know, I I I I really hoped to God it was gonna work, but you never know with these things. You never know. There was so many different pieces that we needed to execute it. So now I'm just kind of like, you know, with this, I just I realize my pen game is just serious, it's strong. And I just like I want to just write more TV shows, write more movies, you know, produce more. I just want to focus on Mad Solar Productions and just get that out a little bit more. And then on the side, I got my clothing line that's debuting in January in Paris during Fashion Week.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I got those two things I'm really focused on, and just designing and writing, and that's kind of like where I see myself headed. I really, the Kid Cudi stuff. I think I kind of want to put it on the back burner and kind of chill out with that.
Yep.
I think I kind of want to be done with it.
I think you've earned the right to move in whatever space you want to move in because you've always been a storyteller. And even your music, I think, was a reflection of your desire to tell stories. I always feel like that was the driving principle behind why you were Kid Cudi in the first place, was not to gain attention or clout or success, but because you had stories to tell.
Exactly, I agree. I mean, that was definitely, my motivation. The response to the first album was something I never imagined. Like at best, I thought I was just gonna be like, I have a record deal, I have one album, and that was it. I didn't imagine all these years later I would still be doing it, still be relevant, and
More.
taking it to the next level. You know what
More
I'm saying?
relevant.
Like,
More
yeah,
relevant.
yeah, yeah.
And so when you say, and I want to give you the chance, but as we say goodbye, I want to give you the chance to just put in the context that you feel comfortable in today, because I feel where you left off on the music side of things, which means so much to fans, which is only one half of the trade. When you say, I want to be done with that, do you mean for now? Do you mean done with that? What do you mean?
I mean, done with it. You know, I think closing the chapter on Kid Cudi. You know, I you know, the goal for Intergalactic, I was like bored of making albums, just like doing an album, 2 music videos, and that's it. And I was like, man, I went into this wanting to do something epic and different, you know. And now that I've done that, you know, I kind of, you know, I've made a lot of music, man. I've said a lot, and you know, I have other desires. I have other things I want to do, and you know, I do not see me never making music. Like I always like around in the studio and make something here and there. But as far as like getting in the studio and working on an album, like and then going and touring it, like I just don't have it in me. I don't have the desire. I have so many other things I want to invest my time into. And one of the main things that I know I'm talking about writing, I know I'm talking about all this other shit, designing, but I really want to like spend more time with my daughter. You know what I'm saying? Like really, like we've been kicking it a lot lately and I've been having more time and it's it's good, you know. She's growing up, like our relationship is super tight. Like it's what I always dreamed of, you know. I remember when she was younger, I would have these moments like when she was like a baby, like 2, and she would cry when she would be around me sometimes. And I'd be like, man, she don't even like me. And I'd be like, man, she gonna grow up and not even like me. Like, you know, I would get so in my head. And I think about it, and me and my daughter are so tight, you know, like we're so tight. So I want to kind of get nurture that relationship and be there for her a little bit more while she's finishing up high school and being there for her when she's done and seeing what else she wants to do in life and helping her, you know, focus on a career. You know, I just want to be her coach, you know. So
You did it. 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 You came, you said it, you made it, you did it. It's your life. Take it back.
yeah. You're right.
Awesome.
It's been an amazing ride, right?
Oh
Like
yeah.
we ups, downs,
Oh yeah.
up again, you know.
Yeah.
Um it's been crazy. I wouldn't want to do anything differently, you know. From the mixtape to Speeding Bullet to Heaven, everything went how it was supposed to go, you know. And I just feel really good about everything I've ever done, and I'm at that point where I'm just like I don't have anything else to prove, you know. I really don't.
So I guess we have to get used to the mind of Kid Cudi in a whole other way now, which I'm all about. Bro, the risk of sounding selfish, man, as long as we keep getting a chance to fucking talk about whatever you're working on, bro, I am super fucking stoked.
Definitely, for sure. I will always be trying to talk to you, man.